Reilly leaned across the cafe table, the file Jack had given him spread out like a crime scene. 3 carers vanished in the last year, Jack muttered, tapping a page. No exit paperwork. No trace. Reilly's jaw tightened. And the agency? Jack shrugged, silent as the grave. But here's the kicker, he slid a blurry photocopy across. Wills. Changed weeks before death. Every single client signed everything to someone else. Reilly froze. His mother. His inheritance. There lives. You dig further, Jack warned, and you'll paint a target on your back. But Reilly already knew it was too late. They were watching. That night, Susan wheeled to the window. A car idled across the street, lights off, 2 silhouettes barely visible. She felt the chill settle in her chest. The next morning, the doorbell rang. A young woman in uniform stood smiling. Good morning, Susan. I'm here from Elderly Minds Caregivers, she said, smiling. Susan's face hardened. But I didn't request anyone, did I? The woman's smile didn't falter. Oh, but we were told you'd need me. Mirabel found Susan in the study late that night, hands trembling over the CCTV monitors. They know, Susan whispered. They've seen me. On one screen, footage flickered, not from her cameras, but from somewhere else. A close-up of her rising from the wheelchair. Her shadow cast tall on the wall. A timestamp at the bottom. They had hacked her system. Fear gripped Susan. The phone rang. Susan lifted the receiver. A quiet voice, slightly distorted, and cold, spoke. We've been watching you stand, Susan. Was this another one of your antics? The voice added, we know about the assignment. The strange voice paused. Because we have the documents. You will hear from us. The caller ended the call. Susan's blood turned to ice. Her face pale. She slammed the phone down, turning to Mirabel and Reilly. It's not just the agency. Someone's inside this house. Inside us. The next morning, a plain package sat on Susan's desk. No stamp, no address. Inside was a single document, her will, but the beneficiary was not Reilly, not family. It read, in sharp black ink, all assets to Mirabel Alvarez. What? Mirabel blurted out in shock. She looked transfixed like a statue. Her face went white. Then she said, I swear to you, I had nothing to do with this. I swear. Please believe me. I have nothing to do with all this. She carried on. Susan paused, bewildered, then looks into her carer's trembling eyes, but the question lingers, if not Mirabel. Who put her name there? Reilly slammed the forged will onto the dining table. This isn't random. They've been grooming you, Mother. Grooming us, Reilly said angrily. This is no joke. They are unto our family. This isn't right. Susan stared at the paper, fury simmering beneath her composure. They think they can write me out of my own life. No, 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 no. It's not going to happen. I will fight them with all I have, with all my might, and my last breath. She snared, angrily. Mirabel's voice cracked. I was forced here. Do you understand? They said if I refused, I'd lose everything. I thought it was just a job. I didn't know I was being used, she said, almost in tears. She sounded innocent and convincing. Reilly's eyes softened, but his voice was hard. We're pawns in something bigger. That night, Susan unlocked her private vault. Reilly stood beside her as she laid the documents out under the dim light. Not one, but 2 forged wills lay inside. One signed everything to Mirabel. The other, he paused. Reilly read the name twice before speaking. Who the hell is Daniel Cross? The room went silent. None of them knew the name. And yet, Susan's signature sprawled across the bottom as though she had written it herself. A stranger has already been written into Susan's legacy. And whoever he is, he's closer than they imagine. The name sat heavy in the room. Daniel Cross. Who's Daniel Cross? What does he want? Susan shook her head. I don't know him from Adam. Never met him, and I never signed this. Reilly turned the paper over in his hands. The signature was totally flawless, her loops, her flourish. It's you. Down to the ink pressure, Reilly said, looking at Susan. Forgery. Angry-looking Susan snapped, mouth open, but her voice lacked conviction. Later that night, Mirabel brought tea to Susan's study. I tried searching. There's no Daniel Cross linked to Elderly Minds, not publicly, she said, softly and reassuringly. Reilly appeared in the doorway, jaw tight. That's because he doesn't exist, he paused, not on paper, which means he's either dead or very well hidden, he snapped, angry looking, jaw tight. Then a notification pinged on Susan's laptop. An email had just arrived. This drew his attention. The sender, Daniel Cross. Reilly forced a smile. It made him look more anxious than angry. The email was simple: stop digging, or Daniel Cross inherits everything. Reilly cursed under his breath. They know we found it. Yes, they know. I will not stop until I know the truth, the whole truth of who's behind all this. The next morning, Nathan, Susan's old friend and doctor, arrived unannounced. He fussed, offered wine, tried to distract. But when Susan mentioned Daniel Cross, his glass slipped in his hand. He stood still, frightened like someone who has seen a ghost. You've heard the name, Susan said flatly, looking straight at Nathan, expecting answers. Nathan's silence was louder than any confession. Tell me what you know. I mean everything, Reilly demanded. Nathan adjusted his glasses, his hand trembling. Cross isn't a stranger. He was a patient years ago. A lost identity I was paid to keep off the books. Susan's voice dropped to a whisper. By whom? Nathan swallowed. By elderly minds. Mirabel enters the room, pale. Susan, there's a car outside. The plates, they're registered to Daniel Cross. Who was the imposter? What does he want? Who sent him? Why now? The car was gone by the time they reached the gates, but a letter waited in the postbox. Meet me. Midnight. At St. James Park, D.C., Reilly argued. It's a trap. But Susan's eyes burned with defiance. It's my life, my fortune, my family. I will look him in the eye. At midnight, wrapped in a long coat, Susan wheeled into the shadows of the park, Mirabel at her side. Reilly followed a few paces behind, every sense on edge. A man stepped from the darkness, probably in his late 30s, in sharp-looking suit, clean-shaven, and calm smile. His eyes locked on Susan's. Arms spread out, as he walked towards Susan. You've finally come, he said softly. Mother. Susan's heart froze. Her world stood still. Daniel Cross isn't a stranger at all. Daniel Cross is real. To be continued. Please drop a comment below to let us know where you're watching from. Susan's voice trembled. What did you just call me? The man's calm smile never faltered. Mother, you left me, but now I've come back. I'm back for good. I miss you, Mother. Angry-looking Reilly stepped forward, fists clenched. Enough of this nonsense. This is a con. My mother has one son, me and only me. You crazy crook. Now back off, before I lay my hands on you. Daniel's gaze flicked over Reilly, cold, as if assessing him. Then he said, smiling, and pointing at Reilly, you were the chosen one. And I, Daniel, was the hidden one. Very sad indeed. Susan shook her head, but inside, fragments of memory rattled loose, a clinic visit she'd long buried, an adoption file she never saw. Dr. Nathan's evasive words replayed in her mind, a patient, a closed chapter, a lost identity. The assignment. Who put you up to this? Susan demanded, pointing at Daniel in rage, visibly shaken. Daniel's smile darkened. The same people who've always pulled your strings, Mother. Elderly minds was just their mask. I am your insurance policy. Daniel pulls from his coat an original birth certificate, Susan's name on the mother's line. She was speechless, transfixed. Then Reilly reached out to her hands, and said, let's go, Mother. Back at the mansion, the forged wills lay on the table. Now, with the birth certificate, the room felt suffocating. No word. Everything stood motionless, except for two words, the assignment. Mirabel shrugged, and whispered, it could be fake. Reilly slammed his fist down. It is fake. They're trying to break us apart. Can't you see? But Susan sat in silence, staring at the certificate, her signature in faded ink. Her hand shook. Nathan returned, pale and sweating. When shown the document, he whispered, there was a child. Off the books. I helped cover it. It was the assignment you gave me. Remember? Reilly's voice was raw. You knew all this time. Nathan's face crumpled. They made me. If I refused, they would have destroyed me. Susan stood abruptly, the weight of betrayal pressing on her chest. So Daniel Cross is real. That night, Susan finds an envelope under her pillow. Inside, a DNA test kit. A note reads, prove it. I'm the assignment. Your son, D.C. Reilly paced the study. You can't do this, Mother. If you take that test, you give him legitimacy. Susan's voice was cold. If he is mine, I need to know. Mirabel, caught between them, whispered, "What if he's telling the truth? What if he's been used his whole life, just like me?" Reilly shot her a glare, raising his voice. "Don't take his side," he warned. But Susan's mind was set. She swabbed the test, sealing it with trembling hands. Days later, the result arrived. It was 99% positive. Susan's world tilted. 2 sons, one she raised, one stolen, both now at war. To be continued in part 3. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to support our YouTube channel, Beyond African Borders. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below to let us know where you are watching from.